All right. Welcome everybody to today's webinar. You guys are here for the Riverside Community College District's College Hour webinars series. We're going to be focusing on entrepreneurship today. Today is May 17th, 2022. All right, so just a little bit about how the day is going to look. We'll go ahead and start off with a quick overview of the CalTAP program. Just kind of tell you a little bit about how we help out veterans and what we're there for. We're going to talk a lot about small business. We have presenters here from the SBA who will talk to you a little bit about how they help out veterans. And then we also have a presenter here from SCORE who will talk to you also about what they do with veterans here in California. After we're done with that, we'll go ahead and start a virtual questions and answers panel where any questions that you have for any of the presenters, you can go ahead and ask them at that time. Just a quick thing before we start, we did lock down the chat so that you wouldn't be able to use it as attendees. This is because we're going to be flooding the chat with resources that you guys can download on your own time if you want to. With that being said, if you do have questions for the attendees and you want to ask them, as they're speaking, feel free to use the Q&A portion there at the top. It's a part of the Zoom features. Ask your questions there. The presenters can either get to them as soon as they see them, or we can wait until the very end to use them to facilitate that questions and answers portion. So just to let you know one more time, we're not going to be having the chat open. So if you are trying to use it to communicate, please use the Q&A feature instead. So we'll go ahead and start off. My name is Michael Cisneros. I'm a training coordinator with the California Department of Veteran Affairs. I specifically work with CalTAP, or the California Transition Assistance Program. I've been with CalTAP for about 2.5 years. I'm happy to be here and happy to work with the veterans. I'm also a veteran myself, so and I was a student veteran at one point too. So happy to be here and happy to help out in a different way. So what is CalTAP? CalTAP is a training assistance program that's designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their earned state and federal benefits, as well as provide continuous assistance and support as their needs change over time. And so what we've done is we've developed different pathways that help veterans navigate those different benefits, pathways like an entrepreneurship pathway, an employment pathway, an education pathway. There's a general core curriculum pathway of benefits that don't fit into those topics that I just mentioned. And then we also have a service provider pathway, which we don't touch on too much, but if you have anybody within your community or if you have family members that do want to work with veterans, feel free to send them to our website to view some of that curriculum. It just helps individuals work with veterans and kind of understand military culture just a little bit better. Some ways that we want to keep in touch with our veterans after they separate from the military. You can always provide your non-DoD email to our CalTAP inbox. This does is this helps you, this actually gets you onto our mailing list so that you can receive a monthly newsletter that we send out, kind of let you know what's going on with the department, specifically with the Veteran Service Division. On top of that, you can also register on My CalVet on our CalVet homepage. And then you can follow us on our social media platforms. We have YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. On top of that, you can also follow or attend any of our webinars, which our calendar is up on our website, and you can register at our Eventbrite page. And then also fill out the survey. The survey also gets your name on that mailing list. And on top of that, it also gives us information that we can use to see how we did and what we can do better for the next time. This survey and the QR code will be popping up a couple times throughout the webinar. So if it's not necessary to fill out, but if you do want to fill it out and give us some information, feel free and you'll see it again. So this is what our webpage looks like, the CalTAP webpage at calvet.ca.gov. When you're on this webpage, you'll find the pathways that I just mentioned. Before we move on to the pathways, I do want to bring your attention down to the bottom of the screen, that archives link. So since the pandemic started, we've actually started up the webinars that we've covered over the last 2 years. We've focused on everything from mental health, distance learning, We looked at financial literacy, claims and compensation, disability. We looked at it all. We've talked about it all. We've had many different presenters come and talk about those topics. So if you want to check out some of those webinars that we've recorded and you want to see those PowerPoints with the resources included, feel free to check out that archives page and start viewing and browsing what we've already worked on in the past. Those surveys that you fill out also help us with figuring out what kind of information we should do for the future, what kind of information we should provide to the veterans in the future. These are just some benefits that we help the veterans kind of understand is available to them and let them know how to get in touch with them. There's benefits out there for individuals. Most of these actually are for individuals with disability ratings. There's fee waivers, college tuition fee waiver. There's a motor vehicle registration fee waiver, tax programs for people who want to start their own business or own property. We have programs out there for individuals who like to be outdoors. There's a state park pass that's offered at no cost, and there's also a fishing and hunting license that's offered at a reduced cost. For our women veterans and our minority veterans, we have programs that offer information, advocacy, outreach, and support. There's a home loans program that's different than the federal VA home loans program. And then we also provide end-of-life care and services for veterans. Cemeteries, there's state cemeteries here in California that are different than the national cemeteries. And then Calvet has 8 different homes for long-term care across California, I'm sorry. So this is for our elder veterans who need assisted living or memory care, hospice care. These homes provide that for the veteran. You can find this information in our veteran resource book. So there was an email that was sent out to you yesterday, and I believe 2 that were sent out today, all containing the same information. But in that email, there was a link to a PDF copy of this book. If this was an in-person event, you guys would each have a hard copy sitting in front of you right now. But because we are doing virtually, we're just giving out the link. Definitely recommend opening up the book, saving that link to your phone or your laptop or desktop, whatever it is. And whenever you get the chance, look through it. Everything that we discussed today when it comes to California benefits can be found in this book. It's going to let you know about the benefit. It's going to let you know eligibility requirements. It will let you know how to get the process started, what kind of forms you need, and who to turn those forms into. So it's I like to say it's like gold for veterans. So on top of the email, we'll also put a link in the chat. So if you want to just look in the chat and download it that way, feel free to do it. So a couple websites that we want to get you familiar with before we move on for the rest of the webinar. VA.gov. I like to think of VA.gov as a hub for veterans. So if you're looking for information about the VA healthcare system, claims and compensation and disability, you want to check out your military records or even apply for education benefits, you can go to va.gov and get all that done there. Looks like that's it. So that's my contact information. If you have any questions about CalTAP and some of those benefits that are open to you, feel free to email me. I could definitely let you know more about whatever it is you saw on that list. Let you know how to get those started and direct you to the people if needed. Direct you to the right people if needed. So now I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Merlene Steinbeck. Merlene is a Calvet local interagency network coordinator there in the Inland Empire. And she's going to talk to you a little bit and explain how she works with veterans and how links across California help out veterans here in the state. So when you're ready, Merlene, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Michael. So Michael is very good at talking about your benefits, but I wanted to challenge you that the links are also an additional benefit. Next slide. I wanted to tell you how California has done this. Now, what they did is they split California into 8 different regions, and every region has a specialist. I am a specialist in the big red area here. That would be Inyo, Mono, San Bernardino, Riverside counties. However, as you can see from the map, there are various different links throughout the state of California, and we all are resource experts in our area. Now, I always like to point out over in the lower left corner is Orange County. And yes, geographically it's small, but there are just as many veterans in Orange County as there are in my entire region. That said, the needs of the veterans in Orange County would apparently be very different than the needs of my region. For example, transportation is much more difficult, income restricted, jobs aren't as available as they are in Orange County. So in Orange County, they have a large family collaborative and various different things that are targeting certain demographics in that particular region. That is why I say we are a benefit to you, because each of us is a specialist in our area of jurisdiction. Next slide. What we do is we provide outreach to the service members. We go to bases, community colleges, libraries, any place that we believe that we're going to find that veterans, we're going to go to those places. We make referrals and we work directly with the established service providers, and that's a little bit what it really means is that we go to various different meetings. We meet with people on site. We'll meet with the CVSO offices. We will go to various locations. If you have an appointment at a doctor's office, we have contacts at all of the clinics. We have contacts at all of the vet centers. We have contacts all throughout the VA, not only federally, but county, state, as well nonprofits. And we also assist with local emergencies. If you remember the fires that we had recently, we would have a local interagency network coordinator on site, the link, and we would direct these people where to go to replace things such as their DD-214s that may have disappeared. We also provide leadership and advocacy to local communities. I've met with several community leadership, talked about the needs of our community, and it's always a blessing and amazing to be able to represent the veterans in my area. Next slide. We have contacts throughout the state as well. Of course, we work for the state of California. So we have contacts at the EDD offices to help. Sometimes veterans just want us to help them get a job or to help them develop their business. We have contacts in the EDD offices that can direct them and help them and assist them at every step of this process. Also, we have the county contacts at the county veteran service offices, of course, at CalVet and throughout the VA healthcare network. Next slide. Should you have any further questions, this is my reach out contact information. If you'd like your links information, go ahead and contact me and I'll get you over to that.
Great. Thank you, Marlene. Appreciate that. Great resource, part of CalVet. Definitely, if you have any questions about any kind of services or programs, organizations outside of the state or outside of the State Department, please reach out to Marlene. She can help you out. So now I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Cesar Estrada. Cesar's with the Small Business Administration, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about how they work with veterans, here in California who are interested in starting their own business. So when you're ready, go ahead, Cesar.
Thanks, Michael. Cesar Estrada, as the slide says, I'm an outreach and marketing specialist here at the SBA out of the Los Angeles District Office. I want to thank Michael for inviting me and all the guests here. I've learned already a lot. I use CalTAP, so I'm also a Navy veteran, and I'm the veteran liaison for the office. So I do, I'm in it with, a lot of, I want to see veterans succeed. So I love what I do at the SBA. Next slide, please. And I'm just going to share with you a lot of the resources that are available to you as a veteran and what the SBA's mission is as it relates to you guys. And welcome and thank you for taking the time to join us today. So the SBA works to ignite change and spark action so small businesses can confidently start and grow. Next slide, please. And let me show you. Working with the SBA, small business owners and entrepreneurs are empowered to succeed with access to capital, valuable resources, business know-how, and the right expertise for each stage of the business cycle. So we like to think that, from A to Z, we can help you. In regards, how do we do that? How do we achieve that? So the SBA has a resource partner network. They're approved and funded by the SBA. There are 1,400 plus partner offices nationwide. When you need reliable advice to start or grow your business, the SBA can connect you with experts who understand the business climate at both the national level as well as in your specific region or market. The SBA Resource Partner Network helps to extend our reach to serve the nation's small business community outside of our district offices. Whether you need to create a successful business plan, get expert advice on expanding your business, or train your team, the SBA makes sure that you're never far from the help you need. In fiscal year 2017, over 1.4 million small business owners received counseling or training from an SBA resource partner. You can find resource partners closest to you using our local partner search at the RCCD.gov local-assistance. Next slide, please. So the first one that I'm going to talk to you guys about, and I know we have a couple of other of our resource partners on here. So I'm going to talk to you first about the Small Business Development Center. The Small Business Development Center's counselors help entrepreneurs to realize their dream of business ownership and then remain competitive in an ever-changing global economy. You have access to free counseling and low-cost training on topics such as marketing, regulatory compliance, technology development, and international trade. Find your local business development center at sba.gov SBDC. And also you can go to californiasbdc.org to find the nearest one here in California. Next slide, please. SCORE. So I know we have a SCORE mentor, so I'm not going to talk too much about SCORE, but I'm just going to say that they, if you need some mentorship, join the ranks of other business owners who have experienced higher revenues and increased growth thanks to mentoring they receive from SCORE. The nation's largest network of volunteer business mentors harness the passion and knowledge of real-world business executives to provide invaluable mentorship in person via email or over video chat. Visit sba.score to start working on your business goals. And of course, you can see their website as well, which is score.org. Next slide, please. The next one we're going to talk about is the Women's Business Center. If you're interested in starting a small business, your local Women's Business Center is a good place to start. Tap into your national network of community-based centers for counseling, training, mentoring, and referrals. For your nearest Women's Business Centers, visit sba.gov/women. And they also will help gentlemen too. So I like to mention that because, you know, depending on where you're at, maybe there's a SBDC too far for you, or, you know, transportation or what have you. If there's a WBC that's near you, you're more than welcome to go and ask them for assistance. And you can find their website also, californiawbc.org, to find one near you here in California. Next slide, please. The VBOC. Okay, so I know that we have a VBOC representative. I'm just going to mention that in California, we have two VBOCs, one in Southern California. The website is socalvboc.org, and the one in North Cal, northcalvboc.org. Veteran entrepreneurs or small business owners can receive business training, counseling, and mentoring, and refers to other SBA resource partners at a Veterans Business Outreach Center. This is also a place to receive procurement guidance, which can help your business better compete for government contracts. So every time as a veteran liaison, I get contacted at the office and a veteran reaches out to me, the first thing I say is contact your nearest VBOC. That's the best place to start out. Use them as a resource, and they will definitely guide you in the whole entrepreneurship cycle. Next slide, please. Here's another thing that the SBA can help you with. Are you ready to consider federal contracting? The SBA works with federal agencies to award at least 23% of all prime government contract dollars each year to small businesses. And just as the slide states, the world's largest customer buying all kinds of products and services is the federal government, and is required by law to provide contract opportunities to small businesses. And I'll talk about that in the next slide. So you can evaluate readiness and learn more by visiting sba.gov/contracting. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to focus on the veteran side of it. So qualify for federal contracts with certification. The SBA works with federal agencies, 23% of government contracting dollars each year to small businesses that are certified with the SBA's contracting programs. So here we have the 8A business development, the hub zone, the historically underutilized business zones, women's small business program, and the service disabled veteran program. Now you can qualify for all of them. If you're a woman and a service disabled veteran, you can qualify for both of them. If you're in, you can use all of these across. You don't just qualify for one, you can qualify for multiple. But let me just give you some things here. The federal government aims to award at least 3% of all federal contracting dollars to service disabled veteran small businesses each year. Competition is limited for certain federal contract opportunities to businesses that participate in the SDVOSB program. Joining the SDVOSB program makes your business eligible to compete for program set-aside contracts. You can still compete for contract awards under other socioeconomic programs you qualify for. And just to give you a rough estimate of what that means, 3% in fiscal year 2017, 4.1% or about $17.9 billion went to service disabled veteran-owned small businesses. So there's a lot of opportunity there to get into federal contracting. Another thing, veteran-owned small business verification program benefits. Small businesses owned by veterans can compete for set-aside contracts at the Department of the VA, Department of Veteran Affairs, through its Veterans First Contracting Program. VA awards a large amount of contract dollars to veterans every year by offering set-aside contracting opportunities. VA also sets aside contract opportunities to businesses owned by veterans who are service disabled. We also have the other one, the surplus property for veteran-owned small business programs, program benefits. And I'll share with you guys at the bottom, but just for an example, what do you talk about surplus property? We have government vehicles that get used for a couple of years, then they take them over and they can be resold, and veterans qualify to purchase those vehicles. Just to give you just a little example of what that means, and also other property as well. But for that, you can go to the Office of Veterans Business Development. I'll put that in the chat. Their number 202-205-6773. I'll put that in the chat, so don't worry about that. And also, I'm going to share my contact information at the end, and I'll share my email. And also, I know this is a lot of information, but in case you have any other questions, please follow up with me. I'd be more than happy to sit down with you one-on-one, have that phone conversation with you guys, and just send you to the right person that you're interested in with whatever information you need. I'll put it with you. I'll put you in contact with that person. Next slide, please. Other things the SBA can help you with is access to capital. Next slide, please. So we have this, the SBA works with approved lenders to offer microloans and SBA-backed loans. They offer competitive terms, lower down payments, flexible overhead requirements, counseling and education. I love mentioning the counseling and education because not only will you apply and receive a SBA-backed loan, but you will receive the counseling so that you can repay that loan and your business will move forward. So that's the goal of the SBA, for you to you have your doors open for a long time, and that counseling comes into effect. How to manage your money and all that. So the SBA loan programs are designed with unique needs of small businesses in mind. Longer repayment terms, lower payments, and no prepayment penalties give you the flexibility you need to grow your business while meeting your financial obligations. SBA loans guarantees make it possible for small business to access the capital they need to start, grow, or expand their business. Next slide, please. Here we have another tool that we have on our website, which is called the Lender Match. I've used it. It's very simple to use. You can go to Lender Match at sba.gov Lender Match, describe your needs. Interested lenders will contact you within 48 hours, 2 days. Then you can talk directly to the lenders and apply for a loan. Now, this is a very easy tool to use, but I highly recommend you guys contact an SBA resource partner that I mentioned before, a Women's Business Center, a Small Business Development Center, the B-Box, to get a business plan before you contact them, because the main thing lenders are going to want to know is, how are you going to repay that loan? And how is your business going to thrive? And you have to put that on a business plan, and they can certainly help you start with that business plan. So this is a great tool, but I highly encourage you to contact your SBA resource partners first, or in the V-Box, before you go down Lender Match. But it's a great tool to have. Next slide, please. And also, the other things that the SBA can help you with: are you interested in international trade or exporting? Nearly 96% of consumers live outside of the US, and 2/3 of the world's purchasing power is in foreign countries. So I know that the SBDCs, the Small Business Development Centers, are great at this. If you have a product, they can help you export it. They can help you find buyers. So get with an SBDC. If you're looking at exporting, it's a great opportunity to make some money. Next slide, please. This is the last slide that I have. The SBA disaster assistance loans. As each year, the SBA provides millions of dollars in low interest, long-term disaster loans to help small businesses, homeowners, and renters recover from declared disasters, and loans to cover real estate, personal property, economic injury, machinery inventory, and active duty military. What does that mean, active duty military? So it's called the military reservist loans. If you have an essential employee who is a military reservist called to active duty. The SBA provides loans to help help eligible small businesses with operating expenses. And with that, you can contact the SBA Disaster Customer Service Center at 1-800-659-2955. And again, I'll put that in the chat so you guys can have that. But I just wanted to mention that, you're a veteran, you're an active, you're reservist, you're called up for duty, you have a business, the SBA can assist you with some funds so that your business does not go under while you are serving your country. Next slide, please. So I'm out of the Los Angeles district office. That's our email, lado@sba.gov. That's our phone number. If you can email it and put attention Caesar, I will definitely get it. I'm the only Caesar in the office, Caesar Estrada, that's my name. And I'll put my direct email in the chat as well. If you have any questions, please do contact me. And the last thing I want to mention in regards to those resources I want to mention earlier is that if you're a veteran and like myself, I was stationed on the East Coast, all of these resources that I spoke to you about, the Women's Business Center, the Small Business Development Center, the VBOX, they're across the United States and its territories, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, and Alaska. So if you are moving or you plan on moving somewhere else, reach out to me and I'll find you the nearest one. I'll be happy to do a warm handoff and find out the nearest resource center near you. With that, that ends my presentation. Thank you again, Michael, for having me today.
All right, thank you, Caesar. Yeah, that quick little thing I threw in there. That's the email address that he was going to put in the chat. This will also be on the final slide when we have all the contact information up. So.
Perfect, thank you.
I'm gonna go ahead and now move on to Noah Harris. Noah Harris is with the North Cal Veterans Business Outreach Center, VBOX, or VBOC, and he's going to explain how they help out veterans who are interested in opening up their own business. So when you're ready, Noah, go ahead.
Thank you. You can go ahead and proceed to the next slide. I really want to, of course, thank you for the opportunity to be here. And I think it's a unique opportunity to have not only the SBA, but also to have the actual resource partners that they refer to on the same presentation at the same time. That's a unique opportunity. And just as Cesar shared, we are one of the SBA resource partners dedicated and focused on serving veterans and veteran spouses and essentially the military community in essentially each of the areas indicated above. And you can really kind of wrap it up by saying that essentially if there's a veteran or a transitioning service member or military spouse who is interested in starting or expanding a business, we are definitely a first place to contact and get assistance in that process. And just as Cesar also mentioned, one of the more common things that comes up as far as with funding and being prepared for it, I couldn't underscore his suggestion any more than to, before essentially engaging a lender, is really using one or more of the resource partners to, no kidding, square away that business plan, square away those projections to save a lot of time. That being said, breaking down some of the other things we do, as I have mentioned, it's the one-on-one counseling mentorship. We are currently very much engaged in the transitioning presentations for service members who are leaving active duty military service, as well as actually who have already gotten out, who may have questions about business ownership. We do those in workshops that are both on installation and quarterly. We do those in the community in collaboration with some of the other resource partners like SCORE and the Small Business Development Centers, to really go over the basics that any person needs to know to be able to move forward with a viable business. And then also, as maybe not overtly stated but implied, part of what we do is as Michael said, and as Cesar too, is that navigation part. There are a lot of programs and there are a lot of partners out there to assist veterans in the military community, and sometimes it can be a little daunting just to understand which partner does what. So that's a part of what we do, as well as that navigation of the different programs and resources, with the sole focus of making sure that no matter what the need is, that the veteran has direct access to it. Also, as has been mentioned, the Veterans Business Outreach Center program is nationwide. Here in California, there are two. The Northern California Veterans Business Outreach Center is located in Fairfield, California, and of course the Southern California Veterans Business Outreach Centers is based down in Carlsbad. But again, no matter where a veteran is, both geographically and or in the developmental cycle, as it were, of a business, we're more than happy and prepared to assist. And the information as far as our website is on the slide there. And at the very end, you'll see the phone number as well as the website in case you have questions and want to go ahead and get connected with us. And that's what I have.
Ooh, all right. Thank you, Noah. Yeah, this is his contact information, or the contact information for the NorCal VBOC. If you have any questions about their services, or you're just ready to make the move, feel free to reach out to them. Thanks, Noah. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to Peter Fong. Peter is with SCORE, another resource that veterans can use to start their business. And when you're ready, Peter, go ahead.
Well, thank you. I'm very pleased to be one of the presenters today with our other resource partners. We have been with the SBA since 1964, and we're probably the oldest resource partners with them. I'm also a service-connected veteran. I know Caesar's a Navy guy, and so am I. So anchors away, buddy. So I want to thank all the others and thank you for your service. And I have started 3 companies myself and then worked for a major retail firm prior to my entrepreneurship into entrepreneurship. And I spend most of my time right now doing a lot of training on a national basis and locally for SCORE in Central California. And we have a very active Veterans Protege program. And these are veterans that have joined SCORE, and many of them are VOBs, is veteran-owned businesses, and it's veterans helping vets. Next slide. A little bit about SCORE. Next slide. And again, we were formed in '64. This is our mission and vision and our core values. Next slide. We have helped many small businesses providing free business advice and mentoring, which is our flagship. And doing that, offer low, no-cost business training and starting free business templates and resources. They're enormous in there. That you can go into our website, and there we have a template for any type of financial spreadsheet you would like. Next slide. So with over 13,000 volunteers across the country and serving 1,500 communities, we have individuals that can meet with you one-on-one, virtually, or by email. Next slide. Thanks to our volunteers last year in 2021, our impact, we created over 25,000 new businesses, created over 97,000 new jobs, and 58,422 increased their revenue. Next slide. I just want to add, we're noted to be startups, but 44%, 47% of our clients are already in business. There's several ways we can help you. Next slide. Free mentoring is our flagship that we do with our, and it's free and confidential. More importantly, is that we have people that have been in business, that have walked the walk, and they can take you through that process. And we offer expertise in face-to-face in a local office or online using email or video mentoring. Virtual, we are virtually across the country until it's safe. Whether you're just starting a business, are ready to sell, or retire, we can help you. Provide guidance and resources with your decision. And we want to ask you to just turn to SCORE, and we'll show you how to do that in a minute. But more importantly, we are here for the life of your business. Next slide. So the benefits of mentoring, we provide the specific resources you need through personalized one-on-one mentoring. We avoid timely and costly mistakes by learning from someone who's been there and done that. And again, with confidence, know you have an experienced resource available to you. SCORE has proven to help business and start a successful in 2021. We helped create over 25,000 new businesses. And post-COVID, it has been extremely busy for us. We're seeing more relevant business starting today. A small statistic is in here that 3+ hours of mentoring reports a higher percentage of business success. Next slide. Local business workshops. We did a Marketing 101 today on social media has changed by demographics, and we do these live and interactive. And we have these going on every week, provide access to the collective wisdom of entrepreneurs in the local community. We call these subject matter experts, whether it be HR, technology, becoming a certified contractor with the state or federal government. And also we help emerging firms overcome obstacles and seize opportunities, and to grow your business network. As you can see in your local area, there's a little chicken company coming into California right now called Raising Cane's Chicken. If you want to Google their history, they are one of our SCORE success stories with over 800 locations across the US. They started in Louisiana with one location. Next slide. This is probably the most important tool because everybody's busy today with COVID and nobody's answering telephones. But if you can go on, and there's a resource library in there, if you can't make a workshop, these live webinars, if you can't make it, register for it and receive the recording. Many of these things you're gonna watch over and over again because it is worthwhile doing. These courses on demand are professionally done. Not only that you can watch these over and over again, it comes with a worksheet and glossary page. Most small businesses, you have to understand the terminology with your banking, develop a business plan, whether it be IPR, intellectual property rights, or should I incorporate my business? This will save you a lot of lawyer costs, and you can go and look at some of the legal issues. SCORE is #1 blog business across the country, and I would recommend you go to our blog page and you can score down by subject. The data reports and infographics, we just completed a study post-COVID and who was affected on there. The 3 key areas that were affected were immigrants, women, and veterans. And so we have a hub set up on our website right now, specifically targeted for that group. And we also have the post-COVID-19 resilience hub for those that survive. We have SCORE newsletters and subscribe to those for that information. And more importantly, get real-time business information. Next slide. What's important that so many small businesses out there during COVID, they went alone. Don't go it alone. We have a lot of resources on the call here today that can help you, whether it be the SBA, the VBOC, or Women Business Centers or SCORE. And mentoring helps minimize the risk and provides more improved chances for your startup and success by having someone to talk to. Sometimes, you know, you might have the best business plan in the world, but and sometimes it's really good to talk to someone about that and tweak it a little bit. So I call these workshops, I call these educational events and the training. And what you take away from these is that you have to have an investment in your business, and the time is in educating yourself how to do business. Our online resources are enormous, but more importantly, we want to keep it simple. We don't want you to have your axle wrapped up in there. You're busy, we want you to work on your business. but we're going to be there to help you with the different strategies. And like I said, we're here for the life of your business. If a SCORE mentor leaves, you are in the system. It's like going to a doctor and we can look at your medical records. How can Joe, where does Joe need his help and where has it been in the past? And where does he want to go in the future? Next slide. So we always go in here and we look for past clients that come in and want to volunteer. And this is some of the ways how you can participate. The next slide. You can volunteer with SCORE, help make a difference in our community. We are no longer a Service Corps of retired executives. We changed that model probably 20 years ago. Half of our force are working executives in the community. And amazingly, we have about 15% for the millennials. And they learn from us and we learn from them. And more importantly, it makes a congenial operation to better serve the clients of today. Next slide. This talks about how the advantages of volunteering and making a difference and the benefits of volunteering. This is my 14th year and it just seems like yesterday, but the joy of helping someone start a business and watch them exceed. I know here in Fresno, we have Ampersand Ice Cream that went through one of our workshops here called Simple Steps. They did a crowdfunding campaign for $10,000 12 years ago, and now they have 15 locations. And that really gives you a joy of helping someone really grow. But more importantly, you make new friends and we network. I've got friends all over the country. I would not know if I was not involved in SCRO, what's involved with SCORE. You can grow personally and professionally. Many of our people come from industry of a single industry, and this broadens the scope of not only their knowledge, but how they can help more people. Next slide. We have several areas. We'll find a spot for you. You can become a mentor, which is the key product of our volunteers, a subject matter expert, whether you be on technology, on government contracting, HR. And we have a lot of those that come in and co-mentor with us. And then you can become a teacher and a facilitator. And we always need support. Any organization does that you run needs support. And a leader. We have leadership skills opportunities. And our WS, Women of SCORE, this is a key point for them, is to have leadership opportunities. And we have different training courses they can go through. And they are really, really solidifying what's happening here in the Central Valley. This is a pilot program that we are launching across the country, but this is really working well in the Central Valley and the Sacramento area right now, but it is expanding now into LA and San Francisco. So this is having different groups, and the same with our Veterans Protege program. And we have more veterans coming aboard, vets helping vets. And sometimes women want to be helpful with women. But these women are in business, they're CEOs of companies. And we had a couple come in. One was FranNet, the CEO of FranNet, and she was the past chairman of the IFA, International Franchise Association, and she was terrific. And even though she was in Louisville, Kentucky, the group had her in here as a guest speaker, and it just lit up the room. Also, our FranNet is a corporate sponsor of SCORE, and Janie Bailey is her name, formed we call Vet Fran. They do, they sell franchises, and they waive the franchise fee for veterans. And we'll be doing a webinar on that that's coming up in the next month or so. So anything pertaining to veterans, hopefully we'll have your email address. We'll send you all this information at the end here. And but we are connected with the veterans and the WS and the demographics of the country. And if you go to our website, we are a nation of immigrants. If you go to our website at score.org, go to the top of the page and translate. It goes from A to Z, Arabic to Zulu. There's not a language in the nation that we can't convert our website over that will leave anybody left behind. I would encourage you to go to it today and just go to score.org and hit translate. And if you have some folks that want to do that in their first language, it is available to them. Next slide. One very important thing that we have that we hold our volunteers to, and that's a code of ethics. Our clients have to have a safe place to land without being solicited, and their information they give us is confidential. It's like a client, an attorney-client privilege, and we do a recertification for the pledge every year. And we're very, very specific about that. And we have certain policies and ethics for your knowledge and skills. But more importantly, regardless of your life stage, lifelong learning is absolutely enormous for any individual to grow. Next slide. These are some of the steps and the roles. Fill out the application at score.org volunteer. And we get them every year. But more importantly, during COVID, there's so many people out there wanting to help. We probably had the best recruiting during COVID. I think in 2021, we received over 3,000 applications that people wanted to help. It's amazing the goodness of the people we have here, and yet we have such negative news reports every day. There's just so many good people out there that want to help. And these are really quality folks coming in, and it's a new group of volunteers, and we welcome them. Next slide. So just go to SCORE, find a mentor, and you fill out the application, your zip code, the algorithms on this, when you type this in there, put your zip code in there, we will get that request within 15 minutes. Not 24 hours, not 48 hours. We get that in 15 minutes, and that a mentor near you will be assigned to you anywhere in the country. In California, we have someone in your local area that will contact you within 24 hours. But we receive that request in 15 minutes. It's amazing what we have advanced to in getting these mentors out to the people that need help. Next slide. Some of the SCORE resources on here, like I said, this financial statements template gallery, it is from a startup sheet to your start projections, your balance sheet, amortization schedule. I mean, it goes right on down. We are partners with Google for the past 6 years now. It's called GYBO, and it's a marketing tools for your business. And this is some of the Google software we're using. And then we call Access to Capital 101, and then funding options for startups to grow your business. There's several pages of information in here for you. Use the SCORE website. It's overwhelming, but you can search it by topic in the search engine, which you want to talk about, and choose the one that you want to listen to. There's just so much information there for you. And that's why a SCORE mentor, you should hook up with them so that you're not in there for days at a time and get lost. So we're here to help. Next slide. So another big issue is my legal structure. So we'll save you some lawyers' fees. Go here, it's really good. These are one of those courses on demand. Contact us, info@ if you want some help. The local website here is centralvalleyscore.org, and then find a mentor. And I think that's it. Next slide. Okay, next slide. I think you have my information on there. Okay.
Yeah, we have the information right here.
Okay.
We're going to move into the questions and answers portion now. So any questions that the attendees have for any of the panelists, feel free to throw them in the Q&A panel. I know that I see one there, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in Danielle. Danielle, I'm not sure if anyone had a chance to look at that question yet. I haven't had a chance to see it. But if there's any that come through, would you want to read them?
Yeah, so I believe this question is likely for our SBA team. And the question is, do you help veterans who want to start a 501c3 nonprofit organization?
Yes, we do.
So, hi, this is Cesar Estrada of the SBA. Yeah, so the answer is yes. And again, what we do here at the SBA, we connected with the professionals. And as you heard already, the SCORE mentors are people that have done that, been there, done that. So you can, I tell everyone, use all our resources. Find a good mentor from SCORE. Contact the VBOC. You already heard a great presentation from the VBOC North Cal. Email info@northcal.vboc.org. Connect with them, depending on where you're at, and get with Noah Harris or one of his consultants up there. And then you can also connect with an SBDC in regards to that. So all three organizations are there for you. So the answer is yes. You have to do some homework. You got to do some outreach yourself. Connect with the right person, and the answer is absolutely yes. And it's obviously these resources are free to you on your journey. And also you have my email. If you run into any roadblocks, if you run into any, you think you're not being, someone's not helping you adequately, just give me an email. Let me help you. Okay. So the answer is yes, and just connect with all of us. Thank you.
Great.
And that was the only one I had so far. We will keep the Q&A open for another few minutes while you wrap up the other end.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I'll move on. So this slide again, I mentioned earlier, this is our survey, not required for you guys to fill it out. But, if you do take the time to fill it out, this goes into letting us know what we did well today, what we could work on for the next one. It also lets us know what you'd want to hear, kind of gives us an idea of what our next webinars can focus on. So again, not required, but if you wanted to take a picture of the QR code and fill it out, feel free to do that. I'm also going to talk a little bit about upcoming webinars. So we are focusing on entrepreneurship this month. And we do have a couple more going on for the month of May. Next month, we'll be focusing on employment. It's going to be aging and retirement. So if you see, we have healthcare for older vets, presumptive conditions, and retirement and aging. On top of that, as the month goes on, we'll probably fill in the calendar with other webinars that colleges want us to focus on. So feel free to check out our calendar on our website at calvet.ca.gov and register for any one of these events at our Eventbrite page. I'm looking at it, still looks like we haven't had any questions come through. So we're going to go ahead and call it a day. Thank you again for being here. For those of you that stuck around to the end, if you have any questions about the programs and services that we discussed today, please reach out. That 1-800 number right there will reach me, Danny, or Merlene, or any one of the other training coordinators and links within the department. You can also email us. That CalTAP at calvet.ca.gov is monitored daily. So reach out if you have any questions. With that being said, everybody have a good day. Thank you again, and we'll see you at the next one.